Hey fans, I'm Dustin Davis and welcome to Bears Express Report. The Bears are winning. 9 wins against 4 losses represents the kind of success this franchise hasn't experienced in years. Yet the questions multiplying around the roster grow louder with each passing week. Beneath Chicago's offensive resurgence sits a series of uncomfortable truths about position value, contract structure, and the gap between production and salary. The front office built this team to win now, but the decisions required to sustain that window are arriving faster than expected. What happens when the numbers no longer justify the investment? The organization will soon need to answer that question with clarity and conviction. Let's check out the important events and happenings in Chicago together. First, friends, can I ask for a small favor? If you're liking what we do, click the like button to show your support. It truly means a lot. Thanks again. Chicago's offense is humming at 9-4, the most dangerous attack this franchise has assembled in recent memory. Caleb Williams continues his uneven but encouraging development, while Ben Johnson's system demands consistent, versatile production from every skill position on the field. Yet, one name stands out for all the wrong reasons: tight end Cole Kmet. His declining performance has become impossible to overlook, both on tape and in the stat sheet, and a single number tells much of the story. Kemp's average of 3.7 yards after the catch this season has dropped from concerning to alarming. What was once a statistical outlier now defines his entire body of work. Just 2 years ago, Kempt was among the team's most dependable offensive threats. His 2023 campaign delivered 73 receptions, 719 yards, and 6 touchdowns, numbers that reflected a tight end central to the passing game. That trajectory shifted dramatically last season, and when Chicago used the 10th overall selection on Colston Loveland, the franchise's intentions became unmistakable. His 2025 production, 22 catches, 273 yards, and 2 touchdowns, reads like the output of a complementary piece rather than a featured weapon in a modern NFL offense. The problem extends beyond raw statistics. Williams no longer prioritizes Kempt as a target. Despite regular involvement in 12 personnel packages, he operates more as a structural element than a legitimate offensive threat defenses must account for. ESPN's Dan Graziano laid out the contractual facts plainly. Kempt carries a $10 million annual salary for the next 2 seasons, with 0 guaranteed money remaining. Cutting him would create just $3.2 million in dead cap space. With Loveland entrenched as the primary tight end and displaying breakout potential, Kemp's roster spot grows more precarious by the week. Chicago faces an offseason filled with critical decisions, paying emerging stars, restructuring veteran contracts, continuing to build around the developing quarterback, and Kemp's deal represents low-hanging financial fruit. Kemp's ability to create separation and generate yards after contact has virtually disappeared. First contact regularly brings him down, sometimes before a defender even arrives. He struggles against man coverage. The result is a repetitive pattern. Secure the football, absorb the hit, gain minimal additional yardage, move the chains incrementally. That profile contradicts everything Johnson prioritizes in his offensive design and fails to match the type of target Williams prefers to attack. It stands in direct opposition to the dynamic skill set Loveland provides. Kempt still contributes as a blocker, helping the Bears execute the heavy personnel groupings Johnson favors. But when a backup-level tight end commands $10 million annually while producing minimal yards after the catch and being overshadowed by a rookie who better fits the team's passing identity, hard choices become inevitable. No matter which direction the franchise ultimately chooses, the chasm between Kempt and Loveland has grown too wide to ignore. Chicago has a Cole Kempt problem. If his performance doesn't change dramatically over the final stretch, the organization will be forced to address it head-on this offseason. Meanwhile, Chicago's coaching staff is preparing for a different kind of challenge this Sunday, one wearing orange and brown. The Bears return to Soldier Field for Week 15, looking to bounce back in the win column as they welcome the Cleveland Browns. After a 5-game winning streak ended last week, Chicago aims to start another extended run of victories as the season enters its most critical phase. Following a solid performance containing Green Bay's elite edge defender Micah Parsons, the Bears now face an even more daunting challenge, preparing for Myles Garrett. With 20 sacks entering Week 15, Garrett is threatening the NFL's single-season record of 22.5, making him the unquestioned centerpiece of Chicago's pass protection game plan. In this edition of Gimme Him, the choice is immediate and obvious: Myles Garrett, without hesitation. He represents one of the defining pass rushers of this era, and his addition would fundamentally alter Chicago's defensive identity while echoing the franchise's storied history. Garrett, selected first overall in his draft class, would naturally draw comparisons to Richard Dent, Chicago's all-time sack leader, who accumulated 124.5 sacks across 170 career games. Garrett has already reached 122.5 career sacks in just 120 games while remaining under 30 years old. His 2023 Defensive Player of the Year award and 6 All-Pro selections establish him firmly among the NFL's elite edge defenders. Adding Garrett would upgrade any roster in the league. For Chicago, it would mean acquiring another generational talent. The Bears' pass rush has shown improvement in 2025 compared to last season's struggles, but the depth chart reveals a concerning imbalance. Montez Sweat leads the unit with 8.5 sacks, while defensive tackle Gervon Dexter ranks second with just 4. Pairing Garrett alongside Sweat would instantly create an elite pass rush combination Chicago currently lacks. The relentless attention Garrett commands from opposing offensive lines would liberate his teammates and create rushing lanes, amplifying the entire group's effectiveness on every down. In another development, the Bears have been quietly bringing talent through the doors at Halas Hall for a closer look. Days removed from their Week 14 loss to the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears invited 7 free agents to Halas Hall for workouts, including a former Packers quarterback who impressed during the preseason. With injuries depleting multiple positions, the depth chart suddenly looked alarmingly thin, making each potential addition more meaningful with playoff implications looming. Among the December 9th invitations was wide receiver and return specialist Jaquan Jackson, the 25-year-old Tulane product, listed at 5'9" and 188 pounds, was selected in the 6th round by the Tennessee Titans in 2024, 182nd overall. Jackson's primary contributions have come on special teams. He compiled 627 combined return yards and caught 1 pass for 8 yards through the 2025 season. Tennessee waived them in August, followed by a brief practice squad assignment with the New Orleans Saints. As a compact, speed-focused gadget player, Jackson profiles as a special teams asset who could compete for the 4th or 5th receiver spot. Chicago also evaluated Dante Myers, a CFL standout with Saskatchewan. The 5'10", 190-pound Brooklyn native played collegiately at Presbyterian and Delta State before going undrafted in 2023. After heading north, he emerged in 2025 with 65 catches for 1,056 yards and 8 touchdowns, earning West Division All-Star recognition following a 2024 season that produced 24 receptions for 349 yards and 1 touchdown. A fresh report suggests Chicago may have missed a chance to reshape its backfield through a deal that never quite materialized. Running back James Cook and the Buffalo Bills seem destined for a smooth regular season despite lingering contract tensions between the player and organization. Yardbarker's Jackson Weber identified the Chicago Bears as a logical destination if Buffalo ultimately decided to move its running back. Weber's proposal centered on the Bears including running back DeAndre Swift in any potential deal with the Bills. Cook, who rushed for 1,009 yards last season, 4.9 per carry, is an efficient runner who could balance this offense. Chicago has the draft capital and salary cap space, roughly $13 million per the over-the-cap, to get a deal done, particularly if it were to send Swift back the other way, Weber explained. Swift posted 959 rushing yards across 17 games last season, though Chicago finished with the 8th lowest rushing yardage total in the NFL. Despite that glaring deficiency, the Bears chose not to make any meaningful addition at the position. Both Cook and Swift qualify as explosive playmakers capable of breaking off substantial gains whenever they touch the football. Swift holds a reputation as the superior pass catcher between the two, but Cook edges him as a pure runner. Pro Football Focus grades also indicate Cook provides better pass blocking, giving him an advantage in that third dimension. If Buffalo had been forced to trade Cook, replacing him with Swift would have represented a solid outcome. Swift would have formed an effective complement in the 3-man backfield rotation, alongside Ray Davis and Taron Johnson. The Bills should have extracted at least a day 3 pick in such a transaction, or negotiated a late-round pick swap favoring Buffalo. Naturally, if Swift hadn't been included in the Bills-Bears exchange, Chicago would have needed to offer superior draft compensation. The proposal never materialized, but the situation presents intriguing possibilities moving forward. If Buffalo had acquired Swift, they wouldn't have faced long-term obligations. Releasing Swift in 2026 would have triggered just $1.3 million in dead cap, while saving $7.5 million, offering Buffalo a clean exit if the fit proved problematic. For Chicago, the window to pursue Cook may reopen in 2026 if contract tensions persist in Buffalo and the Bears' rushing attack continues to underwhelm. The framework for a deal was there, the timing simply didn't align. The James Cook trade scenario remains dormant for now, but the logic that made it compelling hasn't disappeared. Would you have pulled the trigger on a James Cook trade if you were the Bears GM? Is Cook's efficiency and pass blocking worth giving up DeAndre Swift plus draft capital? Or should Chicago stick with Swift and focus on improving the offensive line instead? If this deal resurfaces in 2026, should the Bears revisit it, or would their draft picks be better spent elsewhere? Let us know in the comments if he's a target for next season. Before you leave, drop a like and subscribe. Be part of our fan base, and let's make Bears even stronger. Until the next video.